Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. It is a very late Friday. It is a preview episode, but it's the end of another week. We're going into the weekend, a new Manchester United game happening on Sunday. But before we proceed, like, subscribe, follow, whether on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Leave a comment, feedback. If you want to do a collaboration, please let me know. You can, and also like to thank those that have been viewing, subscribing. I do greatly appreciate all the new followers. And Instagram, TikTok, and X, you can follow as well. You can search by the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast, or by the handles, the Red Devils Corner Kick Pod on Instagram, Red Devils Corner Kick Pod on TikTok, and RD Corner Kick Pod on X. So, yes, it is Friday, very late Friday. It's going to be an early morning Saturday when this episode comes out. But yes, we are back. It's only been 24 hours since my last episode. But today's episode is just the preview. I'm going to go into maybe some of Amorims' press conference today that happened. Because, well, it was important because this kind of delayed me with predicting my lineup. The one thing too is I'm doing something different. I came up with two different lineups, which I'll discuss in my preview. Just trying to figure out which way he's going to go. It's hard to predict because now Matheus Cunha is out. So what will happen here? What changes will be made, so on and so forth. Listen, we're facing a very good Crystal Palace squad. A very good Crystal Palace squad. And listen, they're playing, like I said, they're playing very well this season. Just getting everything ready with myself. Getting the table up here as well. But yes, we are playing Crystal Palace. They're currently sitting in 5th. We're currently sitting in 10th. And yes, we can keep talking about what had happened on Monday, but we'll leave it there. We'll get into that in the preview episode. But let's get into Ruben Amorim's press conference, to say the least. I will, again, like I said, Cunha is out. He does discuss that, but there were a couple things that were going on in the press conference here. So I have updates through Manchester Evening News. I have updates here through ManchesterUnited.com. Again, a lot of interesting things. He definitely is talking about the characteristics of the team. A lot of things going on. We've always mentioned Ruben's always been honest too. He's always been honest about the team, and he talked about Monday's loss. He talked about the characteristics of the team going forward. There's talks about the similar formation, 3-4-3, because Crystal Palace does play the same formation as well. He did go into that, but overall, from what I was reading from the press conference, it was good. So to go back to everything going on, so keeping spirits high. It is to start again. It was really tough the week, as it should be. It was hard after the result, this defeat, but the process needs to continue, and we need to go forward for the next game. And we have to understand, especially in our league this year, everything can change so fast. So let's go again and focus on the next one. Just a good old typical Amorim answer. Away form as well, because we're playing at Selhurst this weekend. Away form. Same thing that we need to do to show the players why we lost control of Forest, why we lost control against Tottenham. And if you look at those games, they were there to win. Sometimes a small detail can change everything. Then I felt this year when we play at home, the intensity is higher. And I felt that the game at home, the intensity was not at the same level. So I think it is something that we need to work on. And it's hard to point out one of the things why we're not winning away. There's a lot of issues that we are improving. But like I say, we have advantage in the away games, but we need to know how to finish games in order to win. And this goes back to what was being discussed, the characteristics of the club, characteristics of the players, trying to change the narrative, trying to, like, we've seen games where they bounce back, like the Nottingham Forest going down quickly after quick goals, getting them one back, and so on and so forth. But like things do need to change and things need to be better. And, you know, we may see a few differences on Sunday as well. This is where we're talking about the Palace. Again, these last comments were all brought into by the Evening News. Palace comparisons. We play a different way, and you can understand that by the data, but it is hard to explain everything. It is a different club, and they are doing that better than us. That is quite simple, but you don't say all 4-3-3 play in the same way. We play in a different way. Moment we defend different spaces, we try to attack in a different way, and then they are doing things better than us. I play against him, Glasner, at Frankfurt with Sporting, so I know the players. I take inspiration from everyone. When I have 2 weeks for national teams, I watch all the managers and try to make all the inspirations that I can take. I have 6 years as a manager, and I always try to learning to improve. Yeah, we know the comparisons. We know what's going on. We know that when we're looking at it here, Crystal Palace and United, they're only 2 points away, but there is a difference, quality and everything. When I do my preview, I will talk about the previous games as well. Why? Because, well, it makes a big difference because they have been playing extremely well this season. Very, very well. And yeah, like I said, we can talk about what could have been on Monday, but let's just, we have to move on from that. But so on and so forth. This is now going to be from ManchesterUnited.com. Obviously, question was asked, will Cunha Maguire be available on Sunday, and what's the update with Sesko? Obviously, Sesko is still a couple of weeks away. Harry Maguire is the same. But Cunha should be back for next game. There is a precautionary, because of the head injury, that there is 10 days from the injury to be ready. So he is fine and good to go, but he's still within that processing period where they have to wait it out and see if anything could happen. So we're not going to have him for this week. He should be back next week, and we play. Who does United play next week? Fixtures. We're at West Ham next Thursday. We're playing West Ham next Thursday. So yeah, we're playing them at home, and then Wolves on the Monday. But we're expecting him to hopefully be back against West Ham next Wednesday, which is good as well. And hopefully Sesko should be back in a week or so after that. Because again, we're going to be losing players around that time, so we want to make sure everyone's back and healthy for those games. Another question was asked, Ruben, you mentioned after the game on Monday feeling similar to last year, being afraid of having similar feelings to last year. How much did that increase after the game? Do you think the players share that nervousness that they could repeat last year? Again, I think I like this question. Again, I think if you look at the game, I think we can play better. We could be better in the game. Everything that happened in that game, we should have won that game. So we have to feel the urgency of winning games. That is something that has been there, that has been lacking, even last season, even sometimes this season. That wasn't from Amorims. That's just something I'm throwing in. But to continue on, so we know that. They have to do everything. Let's do everything right. But again, we lost that one. We can change that. Let's focus on the next one. Here's one thing here that I saw. So 2 things here, 2 questions. Are you disappointed with where your team is now? Then I think you look at I think if you look at the games, we should have more points because we had control in some of the games. Yes, when you look at some of them where there's opportunities to take it, we can always keep talking about Brentford and what happened there. Fulham with the missed penalty. there were opportunities there as well. So, and when you look at Tottenham and Nottingham Forest, yes, there was opportunities to take those points there. So yes, they have dropped points. But going back to it, because we had control in some of the games, we had the advantage in some games, and we lost that control. Especially the last three when we just looked at. If you look at our games, we should have more points, but that's really disappointing and really frustrating, especially the last game against Everton. Another question in relation, on Monday, you can see the disappointment in everyone's face. How do you stop from getting too low and going into a tailspin? To start again was really tough. This week, as it should be, was hard to deal with. In result, this defeat, but the process needs to continue, and we need to go for the next game. We need to understand that, especially in our league. Everything can change really fast, so let's go again and focus on the next one. The one thing too is Ruben knows not to stick around and keep focusing on the past. He'll learn from it and go on to the next one. They have to move quickly on to Crystal Palace. We're only playing one game a week, yes, no Europe or anything, but they have to. We have to have a quick. Using the Ted Lasso approach. You have to act like a goldfish and quickly forget and go on. But again, like I'm saying, on some of these questions here and everything, the characteristics, the winning, maintaining the leads, not like we have to be in control. Like we have been in control. We've had issues where we've lost control. But everything here is just, it's all about characteristics and mentality and the approach. The players need to start stepping up with this as well. And listen, we know that the pressure's on, and I know this week the whole Ruben Amorim out brigade is out in full force, obviously with issues, but we have to wait. We shouldn't wait. I still believe in Amorim. I believe they should stay and build. Ineos knows they've given him 3 years, but we are facing challenges. And like I mentioned last episode, there's something that came out that they know about limitations. Yes, and I think my response to was water is wet. And then what was it here? Did I just see something here? There's one thing that just popped up. There's something here about why can't they copy Crystal Palace. So here we go. So yeah, something like that. This is something that I mentioned from the Manchester Evening News. So yeah, so again, there's talking about the comparisons and something mentioned here about copying. One thing that looks like we had some stuff here. We make a lot of substitutions. Sometimes we change because we know it's a different position and you want to change the feet. With Diogo Dalot and Dorgu, we change a lot. Sometimes we start Ahmad in the front, but most times if we do need to win the game, I put Ahmad on the right. Ahmad changes positions all the time, and that can change all the data when you see different things. Again, they are doing really well, and they play more in transition than us. The opponents, Palace, see it in a different way. All these things that we have to look at, and when we compare to different teams. But all things that we do can be so much better. And we need to improve the characteristics of the team. This is what I've been mentioning before. I said that in the last year. He continued to give an example. Last game, Everton, we should have an Ahmad with a right foot to put on the other side to play against 10 men. It's kind of the characteristic that in the meantime we'll try to get to, but to be a better team, are we perfect setup to play in this way? Not yet. But like any other team, we need time to put the right characteristics into every single position to be prepared for it. Yeah, it's, again, like I mentioned, the characteristics, getting everything in the right positions, the players in the right spots. The one thing hopefully we're going to see is hopefully he is better. Hopefully they maintain the Embuemo and the Ahmad side together, the right side, going to the match. So, but yeah, the press conference I was happy with. When you're reading over here everything and reading everything back, you can see what he's trying to do. You're seeing what needs to be done. He's saying all the right things. I'm not saying that he's not. It's just things need to be better, and it's on the players, in my mind. Like, the manager will set it up, and I mentioned yesterday's episode. Ruben Amorim, the way Everton went, I'm sure Ruben Amorim would have went out, held their hands, and told them where to go and what they needed to do, and they still would have screwed things up. So, but yeah, okay. Let's get to the important thing. Well, no, the whole episode's important, but let's get to talking about the preview against Crystal Palace. Okay, so yes, Sunday, early game. Crystal Palace just played yesterday with their Conference League. But yes, we are playing them on Sunday morning, early morning. Listen, Palace has been playing extremely well. They're, like I mentioned, beginning, sitting in 5th. They have been playing very, very well this season. And we've had our struggles. Last year, we lost. We drew at the very beginning when Ten Hag was still the manager. Before that, we lost 4-0 at Selhurst. So that was a difficult match. But to look at what they've been doing so far this season, Prem-wise, they beat Wolves, drew at Brighton. Let me just take a look here. Beating Brentford, winning big against, well, that was EFL. Still, they beat Liverpool 3-0 in there. They did, and they've beaten Liverpool twice this season. Once in EFL and one in regular season. They also beat them in extra time in, what is it called? Oh my God, I forget what it's called. I forget what it's called. Community Shield. There we go. I figured it out. Ding dong. We're in business, everyone. Community Shield. They did beat them in the Community Shield. They did go to penalties, obviously. But technically, they're 3-0 against Liverpool this season, which is great to see. But overall, looking at what they've been doing, yes, they have been better on the field than what Manchester United have been. Yes, you can say, oh, well, 2 points back, so on and so forth. Great, but we are struggling. They're scoring more. Their lineup and everything is set. The last time when I watched them in person, like I said, I've always watched them and they've always struggled. But looking at it, they move the ball very well. This is not the same one. Obviously, Eze and Olise are gone, but they've done enough to replace. Because again, Henderson, if you know him, Wharton, Kamada, Mitchell, Munaz, Madeda, who was linked to Manchester United as a potential one. I would have liked him, especially when we're doing a similar system to what Crystal Palace is. But overall, in confidence, they can run through us on Sunday. I'm still going, again, I'm always going for the win. I always have the opportunities for them to redeem themselves. They have been struggling. It's similar to their struggles against Tottenham over the last couple of years. That's the one thing I want to look back at. The most recent matchups between Crystal Palace and Manchester United. But yeah, I did discuss their matchups because, again, there was a draw. And then we did lose to them this season. Let me just double check. I need to pull up Manchester United again one more time. I'll get there. Let's go back to last season. When did we last play Crystal Palace? Yeah, we lost 2-0 February 2nd. And the last one was a 0-0 draw. I remember it. 0-0, because we had opportunities. I remember that game. We couldn't find, we had 16 shots, 6 shots on target, and we couldn't get anything in the net. And then, obviously we know everything that happened there, but so we've had 1 point. So going back, we lost in them 4-0. And then let me just double check one more time. When was the last time we were successful? Okay. That was EFL. That was 2023. When was the last time? So the last time we beat them was 3-0, but I know we dropped one right after. Where was it? Trying to go back. So 3-0. And then we played them the week after and lost 1-0. So in our last few games that we have played, Premier League wise, it's great that we have the tournament, whatever other competitions, but Premier League wise, we have come away with 1 point in our last 4, which isn't good. And that one was a 0-0 draw, but they have basically scored 5, 6. They've scored a lot, and we haven't scored any. We have struggled to score. And Selhurst is not an easy place to play. It can be difficult. Fabulous stadium, by the way. It really is. Love the environment there. It is great. It really is. I do enjoy it. If you're ever going to the UK, I do put Selhurst on a list to go and visit, to watch a game. It is not like the Emirates. It's not like Old Trafford, but it is overall a fantastic place to watch a match. But I know I'm hyping up Crystal Palace when I know it's a Manchester United podcast, but listen, there's a lot of things they need to do going into this match. They need to be able to control. They need to be we need to rebound so bad to this game. It's not even funny. United are they need to get themselves out of it. And listen, we can try different variations of what we want, what we expect, but we don't know. It's hard to say what's going to happen. It really is. After Monday, incomplete passes, the poor transitions, the not being able to attack and move the ball. Again, we missed Cunha and all that, but there's a lot of issues that happen in that game. And you can go towards the manager, that's your choice, but the players themselves it was on them. They just couldn't do anything right. And now we have to ask them to rebound, which I hope they can, because we're playing against a very good squad who's having a very successful season. They're in the top 5. They're playing in Europe. That's the only advantage that you can really think of when we're going against this, that they're playing in Europe. So right now we have a lot. Again, they can control the attack. They'll control the transition. Their midfield will definitely be a problem for us. The question is now, what are we expecting Amorims to do going into this matchup? But it's he is in a tough situation here trying to play. And again, we can talk about players and everything, but at the end of the day, who do we have? Realistically, nothing's changed. We can't sign Wharton. We can't bring in Anderson. We can't bring in Baliba, Conor Gallagher. When we look at everything here, we can bring in an academy player, but right now, do you want an academy player in there? Because if we bring in there and we don't show up, A lot of people are going to go after Amber and be like, well, why did he put a young player in? But you're going to see youth players there this week because, again, Harry Maguire won't be in. No Sesko, no Cunha. So we will have players missing. We may see Martinez back this week. We may see, potential Lacey out on there. We may see Fletcher up as well. So Aiden Heaven should be getting some time. Hopefully, I'm looking forward to it. It's, and a lot of people are speculating what the lineups could potentially be. Don't get me wrong. I have a couple lineups here to discuss, and like we can discuss them as much as we want, but like we don't know because again, Amorim is there. We may see Xerxes again this week. So yeah, I have two. I came up with two lineups. Obviously, we can hope for, we can hope for a miracle of what may happen. But realistically, this is what I what I think should happen with the lineup. Again, Lemans, Yoro, Delit, Shaw is the back three. Ahmad and Mbuemo on the right-hand side. So Ahmad on the wing and Mbuemo as the number 10. Casemiro, I have Mainu starting. Time to give him the start. I'm giving Dorgu back to the wing back. And then Bruno and Mason Mount to start. We're going to go with a little bit of a false nine situation here. Nothing against Xerxes. I think in this scenario here, we have to go with an attack. And it's nothing about Bruno. Like, again, Bruno has struggled in that pivot role. But this isn't Ruben Amorim giving up on that. It's just we're struggling on the attack. No Cunha does hurt. No Mason Mount. Mason Mount's there. Joshua Xerxes, I know it was his first match, but he definitely did struggle in that transition. I think we have to, again, we can't have Ahmad starting. We have to have him and Mbuemo maintaining that right side. Again, Yoro, Ahmad, and Mbuemo, that right side when you're watching them, I do like. The left side could go either way. I do have, again, Shaw with Dorgu and Mount. When I was setting up the other lineup here, I have two. So my other lineup that I have, Lemons, obviously, my back three, instead of Shaw, I have Mazraoui, Ahmad, Ugarte, Mainu, and Shaw as your middle. Ahmad as the wing back and Shaw as the wing back. Ugarte and Mainu together. I think you have to look at that. Giving Casemiro like a time to come off the bench. And then your attack would have to be Bruno and Mbuemo and Fernandes. So either way, you can look at these different lineups and be like, each way could work. Listen, one lineup is more realistic. I think right now, for all we know, what could happen is I could do a third lineup, hypothetically. Bruno's back in his pivot with Casemiro. Xerxes starts, but you have Mount starting where Ahmad was, and Ahmad's going back to the wing. And you have Xerxes up front. That seems more likely. And then you have Dorgu and Shaw in their original spots. That is potentially what's going to happen. If he's going to make an adjustment, that's what's going to happen. We can dream about Shaw at the wing back. We can talk about Mazraoui being a back three. Again, that back three would be good. Mazraoui has struggled since coming back from injury. And I think just keeping it as a back three is an option. The reason why sometimes I don't want to start Maz is because the bench depth. Because again, you don't want to load up all your starters, but like having Mazraoui coming off the bench, having Ugarte coming off the bench, Mainu, Mount, you want to make sure you have those right players there. So we'll see what happens. I may put out So this one here, well, not the one with Shaw at wingback, but the other one that I did is more realistic. The other option again is Xerxes and is on, Mainu is off, Bruno in the pivot. Usually that's what is the case. But for all we know, we could have Kobe and Bruno in the middle, and you have Xerxes starting as well. There is going to be different combinations here. We don't know if Amram is going to experiment. We can complain. Well, I shouldn't say complain, but we will be discussing. Yeah. We just don't know. Like any option combination, we don't know. But chances are he may play similar to what he did Monday, which I know a lot of fans won't like. But what I would like is the first part, Dorgu and Ahmad out on the wings, Mount, Mbuemo, Bruno together on the attack, Manu and Casemiro in the middle, and the back three of Delit, Shaw, and Euro. I think that's the case right there. That's what it has to be. So it's a tough challenge. It really is. Palace is very good. Very, very good. So yeah, it's tough. But yeah, we have an early morning game. As always, like I say, consistency, discipline, finish. We need to do that. We did none of that on Monday. That was the most difficult part, not seeing any of that being done in the match. So yeah. So do I have a final one? I think my final one is going to be the one I've always discussed. Not always, but the Lamens, the back three of our usual back three, Kobe, Casemiro, Ahmad, Dorgu in the middle, and Bruno's playing up in the attack as a false nine. That's what I'm going for as my final. As my lineup here. The other option could be there as well. When you're watching the video, I will be showing them here, so the both will be appearing together, kind of flip-flopping back and forth, but it's going to be hard to predict this lineup because a lot of things did not go right on Monday. And do we have the players where Ruben can make that big enough a change in a start? Technically, no. That's the thing, right? Those players have to rebound. As much as we can keep doing all this stuff and speculation, we can bring academy players in, but Amram has mentioned why he doesn't, because again, he wants to protect some of these guys. Some of them were brought up last year, but he wants to protect them. So it's just a wait and see game now. We have to wait and see what this lineup's going to be like. But again, they have to set the tone in the middle. They have to move the ball well. They got to defend. It's the same story every week. We know what they need to do, but it's on the players. This game is a player's rebound. Amram knows what needs to be done, and he will set it up. He will set up everything what he needs to be done and trying to change the tactics and all that. But the players, this is on the players this week. Has to be a player's response game. So I will leave it there for the episode. I will be back Sunday after the match as well, and then back next week. Next week. I'll talk about that on Sunday because, again, we have a Thursday game next week against West Ham, so my schedule may be a little bit different with releasing episodes. You might see a big episode Tuesday, but I'll discuss that when I go to do everything on Sunday. Again, player ratings as well. So, but yes, enjoy the game Sunday. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow, whether on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, and as well Instagram, the Red Devils Corner Kick Pod, RD Corner Kick Pod on X, and then Red Devils Corner Kick Pod on TikTok as well. Again, like, subscribe, follow. If you want to do a collaboration, please let me know. Would like to, still looking to do more to help grow the podcast as well. So enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the match. I'll talk to you guys after the game. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.